Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Take a look at some video here of a condominium. This is during a thunderstorm. This is the back of the house, or of the building. The HOA came out and dug these trenches to help keep the water from flooding into the home. Didn't do anything. As you can see, it's a real mess. So the homeowner paid to have a really nice concrete patio installed, hoping to use the patio but also to stop the flood. Someone convinced her, oh yeah, you could just put concrete right up here and it'll solve this problem. Look at the mess that it made. It is horrible. This is a small thunderstorm. Now it's much worse than it was even before. Concrete does not solve water problems. It might look nice, but if you're going to put concrete patio along your house, make sure you solve that water problem first. Otherwise, you can see it just makes a huge mess. The real problem here is that there's no downspout drains. They have extensions that splashed out into the yard, which are just eyesores, but they did nothing for solving the drainage problem. Can you see the flood? These extensions do nothing. The water goes down the extension and then it just floods back up to the patio. Concrete made it much worse. So this is the back of these condos, and you can kind of see what happened here. They added the concrete pad and of course didn't do anything, made it worse. We came out here and left an estimate to put in new 6-inch SDR35 starting back there at that first downspout, connect all these downspouts to the SDR35 with 4-inch PVC, and come all the way down to the storm drain. The original estimate began at the beginning of the building with SDR35 6-inch. This is solid PVC, and it would come all the way out to the storm drain. We would also connect all of these downspouts from the new gutter they put on the back of the house. In addition, we were going to add catch basins inside of the bed because the bed itself is holding water. You can kind of see that they've got this gutter, they've got a seam in there, don't know why, but look at all the sandbags. This area floods so bad, water just poured into these patios, and they're all finished patios inside. This is livable space inside the house. But we left an estimate here, and I think it was about $5,400 to come down, hook up all the downspouts, and tie into a storm drain. But take a look at this storm drain. Look at how clogged it is. Maintenance. It is so important. You have to maintain your systems. There is a concrete culvert there by my foot, and it extends all the way to the street, and behind the homes back there, there is a detention pond, and that's where it all drains to. So it was a really great estimate, would have solved all the problems. So I think our original estimate to run 6-inch SDR35 and connect all these downspouts was like $5,400. And yeah, that's a chunk of change, and the HOA just did not want to pay for it. So the homeowner decided that she was going to just try to move some of that water, and I think that's a great idea. Get that water away from the house as far as possible, and hopefully this little bed that they've edged, and they did trench it out. When all these homeowners here complained, they trenched this out so the water does kind of run downhill and get over to that storm drain. But remember, it has to be maintained. You look at all that debris that's just piled up. And I just unclogged it just a little bit just so I could show you the video. But you've got to maintain systems. If you do not, you'll have problems, and it's just it's part of life. You must maintain systems. So all of that water, you can see Adam down there digging, all of that water is supposed to drain down here, and you can see what's going on. You see all the debris. Well, there's actually a catch basin here. Let me uncover this. I'm just going to rake it over, and you'll see there's actually a storm drain right here. So you can see there's actually an 18 by 18 storm drain right here with a grate on the top of it. Then they put some mesh to try to keep this debris off, but of course you can see they don't maintain it. So real interesting HOAs. So beginning here at the end of the building, first of all, notice the roof line. Notice that there's different elevations of this roof. So they had to end the downspout and the gutter right here, because otherwise it would run uphill to get to the corner. Really a strange, this is common here in Florida, but really a strange roof line. And what they did was they splashed this water across the concrete, and it just went back up under. It's getting into all the homes, not just this one, but the neighbors. There's 4 units here. Look at the sandbags that they're up against. They're trying to stop this water. That concrete is causing more of a problem. So we're going to put a catch basin right here, send the line all the way out here to this little swell that they made, and from here the water will discharge both directions. It'll go this way, and it's going to turn and go the other way towards the storm drain. This homeowner is on a pretty tight budget, and she paid to have that concrete installed. They didn't put the downspout drain underneath. And of course, for us to cut that and put it out, it was going to cost a little bit of money. Look at the sandbags she puts up to stop the water. So remember, when you set a catch basin trying to collect something, especially from concrete, when you're trying to collect that water, it's got to be at grade. And the grade we're talking this grade out here. So that water can come across and drop into the basin. And then we've got our PVC that's just running down the trench. We've got really good fall. It'll come right out and just discharge, open discharge, or we might put a pop-up on it. But prefer just to make it open discharge, let it just drain right out into that edging so that it drains away from this area. So you can see they had some type of a system in here. It didn't work at all. They have a catch basin over here. Can you see it right here? There's a catch basin, but it just was never maintained. And you can see they've got a piece of pipe over here. They had their downspout hooked up, but look how full that is. Let me see that. Look how full of debris this is. And it's just never maintained. You've got to maintain your systems. If you don't clean your drains, this is what will happen. And it's just totally packed full. So this old line, it just ran uphill dramatically, just barely under the ground. And remember, there was a catch basin over here, which could not possibly work, because the line's higher than the inlet, than the grate. It just couldn't possibly work. So you can see the water coming out of that old line. It just ran uphill dramatically. So we're just going to cut the sod off, retrench this whole section, tie directly to the downspout with PVC, and send it straight out here to this little swale. These condominiums are kind of, retirement areas. And although this is a project the homeowners could easily do themselves, the average age here is 77. So they're not going to get out here and do that, but they are on a fixed budget. And the HOA, they probably have the money to do this. But these 2 homeowners got together and they're taking this on themselves, paying for us to do this. And again, an easy project to do. Okay, so we're setting up the 4" 90 and our adapter. I like to just use a saw to make a measurement. I can see it's the length of the saw. We'll cut that off. Give me 1 second. So we've got a nice little insert, and we'll go ahead and hook this up. Pound it together. So make sure it's all the way through there. Looking good. Now we can just hook it up. Perfect. So now we're ready to continue our pipe all the way out. Perfect. We've got a little bit of a footer down there that sticks out, but that still came out real nice, looking really good. Okay, so we've got 4" adapter. This is a 3x4 adapter. It adapts to the larger downspout, comes down 90s, and this is running all the way out here to the little edging area out here at the swell. What we're going to do is take the swell down a little bit so that it can continue to flow that direction. So once completed, We're going to go ahead and flush out, make sure there's no dirt left in that PVC. You can see that as you install, sometimes you get a little dirt inside there. So we're just putting the garden hose in there, and you can see it just comes straight out. And what it's going to do is going to empty into that bed. Remember the bed I showed you? And the guys went ahead and they dug it a little deeper so it could flow extremely well. So it'll flow down to the storm drain. But they've got to maintain that storm drain, or else this is just going to back up again. And that's a HOA. If you live in an HOA, you have to talk to them about maintenance. That's their responsibility. You pay money for this. So again, we have an open discharge. Water is going to come out the pipe, and then Chuck's just taking this down, this edging down a little deeper so that the water can drain down towards that storm drain down there. There are solutions to these types of problems. And although this looks very severe, and it is, all of that water is moving underneath of that foundation, causing problems. You can solve these problems. I mean, the materials on this job, what, $100? And a little bit of labor, and you've solved that problem. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.